Hi guys, it's Mrs. Giles here, and we're going to carry on reading The Enchanted Wood. I'm really enjoying reading this, guys. It's been so good. And we're now on chapter 7. Beth makes some toffee for Moonface. Ooh. Now I have got some questions to read you at the end that you might like to try and answer. And I've done a drawing, and you might want to do some drawing afterwards as well. Our imagination's flowing. Okay, so guys, chapter 7. Beth makes some toffee for Moonface. The children talked about nothing else but the faraway tree and its strange folk for days after their adventure. Beth said they must certainly keep their promise to take toffee to Moonface. Promises must never be broken, she said. I will make some toffee if Mother will let me have the sugar, syrup and milk. Then when it's done, you can take it to Moonface, Joe. Mother said they could make toffee on Wednesday, after she had been to the shops. So on Wednesday, Beth set to work making the best, sweetest, chewiest toffee she could. She set it in a pan on the stove, so it's like the hob on top of the cooker. It cooked beautifully. When it had cooled and was nice and hard, Beth broke it up into small pieces. She put them into a paper bag, gave one each to the others, and popped one into her own mouth. I love toffee. It's very chewy though. I'll have to go at night, I think, said Joe. I shan't get any time off this week, I know. We're so busy with the garden now. So that night, when the moon was shining brightly in the sky overhead, Joe slipped out of bed. Beth and Franny woke up and heard him. They hadn't meant to go with him, but when they saw the moonlight shining everywhere and thought of that exciting faraway tree, they felt that they simply couldn't stay behind. Wouldn't you have felt that too? I know I would. I'd want to go. They dressed quickly and whispered through Joe's door. We're coming too, Joe. Wait for us. Joe waited. Then they all three slipped down the creaky stairs and out into the moonlit garden. What does that mean, moonlit garden? What do you think? It means the moon, the light is shining onto the garden so they can see. The shadows were very black indeed, just like ink. There was no colour anywhere, only just the pale, cold moonlight. They were soon in the enchanted wood, but dear me, it was quite different now. It was simply alive with people and animals. In the very dark parts of the woods, little lanterns were hanging in rows. In the moonlit parts, there were no lanterns, and a great deal of chattering was going on. Nobody took any notice of the children at all. Nobody seemed surprised to see them. But the children were most astonished at everything. There's a market over there, whispered Joe to Beth. Look, there are necklaces made of painted acorns and brooches made of wild roses. But Beth was looking at something else. A dance going on in the moonlight dell, with fairies and pixies chattering and laughing together. Sometimes, when they were tired of dancing on their feet, the partners would fly in the air and dance there in the moonlight. Franny was watching some elves growing toadstools. As fast as the toadstool grew, an elf laid a cloth on it and put a glass of lemonade and tiny cakes there. It was all like a strange dream. Oh, I am glad we came, said Beth in delight. Who would have thought that the enchanted wood would be like this at night? They wasted a great deal of time looking at everything, but at last they got to the faraway tree. And even here there was a great big difference. The whole tree was hung with strings of tiny lights and glittered softly from branch to branch, rather like a very enormous Christmas tree. Joe saw something else. It was a stout rope. I wonder what stout means. I might have to look one up, Jordan. I know I'm going to have to look it up. Going from branch to branch for people to hold on to when they wish to go up the tree. Look at that, he said. It will be much easier to go up tonight. All we'll have to do is just hold on to the rope and pull ourselves up. Come on. Other folk, and some animals too, were going up the tree. Not to the land at the top, but to visit their friends who lived in the trunk of the enormous tree. All the doors and windows were open now, and there was a great deal of laughing and talking going on. The children climbed up and up. When they came to the window of the pixie who had been so angry with them last week because they had peeped in, they found that he was in a very good temper now, sitting smiling at his open window, talking to 3 owls. But Joe didn't think they had better stop, in case the pixie remembered them and threw water over them again. So on they went, holding on to the thick rope, climbing very easily. They came to Silky's house. Can you remember who Silky is? And called her. She was at her stove baking something. And there's Silky again. Remember, she's a fairy or a pixie. I'm not sure. Can't remember actually. Hello, she said, looking up and smiling. So here you are again, just in time. Too, because I'm baking pop cakes, and they are the most delicious hot. Can you remember what the pop cakes did, children? What made them special? Her silky golden hair stood out round her tiny face, which was red from baking. Joe took out his bag of toffee. We're really taking them to Moonface, he said, but do have one. Silky took one and then gave them 3 hot pop cakes each. My goodness, how lovely they were, especially when they went pop in the children's mouths. We mustn't stop, Silky dear, said Beth. We've still got a long way to go up that tree. Well, look out for Dame Washalot's washing water then, said Silky. She's dreadful at night. She knows there are a lot of people up and down the tree, and she just loves to soak them with her dirty water. The children went on up. They passed Mr. What's-his-name, still fast asleep and snoring in his chair, and dodged Dame Washalot's water sloshing down. Nobody even got splashed this time, Franny laughed. This really is the funniest tree I ever knew, she said. You simply never know what's going to happen. They pulled themselves up and up by the rope and came at last to the top. They knocked on Moonface's yellow door. Come in, yelled a voice, and in they went. Moonface was sitting on his curved bed, mending one of his cushions. Hello, he said. Did you bring that toffee you owe me? Yes, said Joe, handing him the bag. There's a lot there, Moonface. Half to pay you for last week's slippery slide, and half to pay you if you'll let us go down again tonight. Oh, my, said Moonface, looking with great delight into the bag. What lovely toffee! He crammed 4 large pieces into his mouth and sucked with joy. Is it nice? Said Beth. Answered Moonface, quite unable to speak properly, for his teeth were all stuck together with the toffee. The children laughed. Is the roundabout land at the top of the faraway tree? Asked Joe. Moonface shook his head. He said. What land is up there now then? Asked Franny. Moonface made a face and screwed up his nose. He said very earnestly. You have to look up what earnestly means. I'm not sure. What does it mean, Dan? Earnestly.
Very sincerely and with a lot of
so really believing in it, really meaning it. Okay, cool. See, I've learned a new word there as well. Earnestly. Sincerely. Oh dear, we shan't be able to get anything out of him at all whilst he's eating toffee, said Beth. He'll just wobble away. What a pity. I would have liked to know what strange land was there tonight. I'll just go up and peep. I bet you know who said that, said Joe, jumping up. Moonface looked alarmed. He shook his head and caught hold of Joe. He cried. It's all right, Moonface. I'm only going to peep, said Joe. I shan't go into the land. Cried Moonface in a fright, trying his best to swallow all the toffee so that he could speak properly. Joe didn't listen. He went out of the door with the girls and climbed up the last branch of the faraway tree. What strange land was above it this time? Joe peered up through the dark hole in the cloud, through which a beam of moonlight shone down. He came to the little ladder that ran up the hole in the cloud. He climbed up it. His head poked out into the land at the top. He gave a shout. Beth! Franny! It's a kind of ice and snow. There are big white bears everywhere. Oh, do come and look. But then a dreadful thing happened. Something lifted Joe right off the ladder, and he disappeared into the land of ice and snow above the cloud. Come back, Joe! Come back! Yelled Moonface, swallowing all his toffee in a fright. You mustn't even look, or the snowman will get you. But Joe was gone. Beth looked at Moonface in dismay and sadness. What shall we do? She said. Oh, guys. I feel really worried for Joe. I guess we'll find out next week in Chapter 8, Joe and the Magic Snowman. That was brilliant. I'm so enjoying this book. I can't believe I didn't read them when I was younger. Right, so I'll show you my picture. I'll see if you can tell me what it is. Yeah, it's the faraway tree at night, guys, with all the lights on it and the stars, and there's Moonface looking out. I wonder if you can draw whatever you like to, guys. I really wanted to draw this because I wanted to see the tree all lit up and looking beautiful. But if you draw any pictures, please do let me see them because I love to look at pictures. You want to hear the questions for today, guys? Okay. Remember, you can listen back and listen to me again so you can see if you can hear, find the evidence, find the answers if you're not sure. Okay, so question 1. How does Beth describe the toffee she wants to make? It's a tricky one. You might have to go back and listen again. Number 2. Would you have wanted to sneak out at night with the children to the faraway tree? Why or why not? In the garden, the shadows were very black indeed. What were they like? Another tricky one. What was different about the enchanted wood at night? What was different about the faraway tree at night? My picture gives you a clue, doesn't it? Question 5. Why was it easier to climb the faraway tree that night? There was a reason why it was easier. And question 6. Where do you think Joe has gone? What might this land be called? What will happen next? Have to find out, guys. Catch you next week. Bye.